The massacre that united Earth. The broadcast was impossible to ignore. It interrupted every channel, every device, every civilian and military feed across human space. One moment there were news anchors, weather reports, children's cartoons. The next, silence, followed by a symbol the galaxy knew well. The sigil of the Galactic Empire. The camera feed stabilized over a blue-green world. Erebus Colony, humanity's third-largest off-world population center. 99 million souls live there. Families, workers, children born under an alien sky who still called Earth home. An alien figure stepped into view, tall and draped in ceremonial armor polished to a mirror sheen. Its voice was calm, translated flawlessly into every human language. "Let this serve as instruction," the Imperial High Executor said. "Defiance invites correction." The planet burned. Orbital lances stabbed down from Empire warships like spears of white fire. Cities vanished in seconds, vaporized so completely they left shadows burned into the crust. Oceans boiled. Atmosphere ignited. The feed did not cut away. It lingered, clinical and precise, until the planet's surface cracked and glowed like cooling metal. 99 million humans died in 11 minutes. Across Earth, no one screamed. In a small apartment in Mumbai, a woman stared at the screen, her hand frozen around a cup of tea that had gone cold. Her son's face, last seen smiling from Erebus 2 weeks earlier, reflected faintly in the glass. In Buenos Aires, a retired Marine stood up from his chair and came to attention, tears cutting clean lines through the dust on his face. In orbit above Earth, a civilian traffic controller shut down her console and whispered, "They showed us," like it was a confession. The Empire's message ended with a final declaration. Earth will comply. The signal cut. For 10 full seconds, the planet remained silent. Then Earth went dark. Not power failure, coordination. Satellites realigned. Civilian networks were severed and replaced with encrypted military channels. Governments that had argued for decades stopped talking and started listening. Borders ceased to matter. Flags lowered everywhere, not as surrender, but as mourning. In Geneva, beneath layers of reinforced stone and decades-old treaties, the Unified Defense Council convened in person for the first time since its creation. No one shouted. No one debated blame. A single hologram rotated in the center of the chamber. Erebus, now a scarred sphere of ash and molten glass. 99 million, said the Secretary General, voice steady but hollow. Confirmed. An admiral clenched his fist behind his back. They made it public on purpose. They wanted fear, another counselor replied. Submission. They wanted us to fracture, said a woman in a plain black uniform. No insignia. They miscalculated. All eyes turned to her. She activated a second hologram. Not a star map. Not a fleet. A vault. Buried deep beneath Earth's oldest mountain range, sealed by systems older than most nations. The room shifted uneasily. That protocol is forbidden, someone said. It hasn't been used, she finished. No, because every time humanity unleashed it, the war ended forever. A murmur rippled through the chamber. Outside, across the planet, humans were reacting in their own quiet ways. Factories retooled without orders. Reservists reported before summons arrived. Parents explained to children, not with hatred, but with truth, that something had been taken, and it mattered. Above Earth, the Empire watched. Imperial analysts observed the silence with satisfaction. No counterattack. No desperate messages. No pleading ambassadors. Psychological collapse, phase achieved, an alien strategist reported. Good, replied the executor. Prepare compliance demands. But the Empire missed something. They did not understand human grief. Grief did not weaken humanity. It compressed it. In a unified Defense Council chamber, a final vote was called. Not electronic. Not anonymous. Each representative stood. Yes. 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 When it was done, the Secretary General exhaled slowly and spoke words that had not been uttered in 2 centuries. Authorize unbinding protocol. Deep beneath Earth, ancient mechanisms stirred. Seals disengaged. Power surged into systems designed not for defense, but for ending wars humanity never wanted remembered. In a chamber of frost and steel, two cryogenic pods came to life. Inside them slept history's answer to extinction. As the vault lights ignited for the first time in generations, a single message was transmitted on all human frequencies: short, unified, and absolute. You have committed an extinction-class offense. The galaxy would soon learn what that meant. Earth had not fractured. Earth had decided. The vault beneath the world. The vault was never meant to be found again. It lay buried beneath layers of basalt and reinforced adamantine, older than most nations, older than humanity's first jump into the stars. The mountain above it had no name on any modern map, only a designation in forgotten military archives, Containment Site 0. As the unbinding protocol completed, locks disengaged with the sound of continents shifting. Power flowed into dormant systems, and lights, dim, amber, patient, began to glow along the corridor. In the command chamber above, the Unified Defense Council watched in silence. "This is the point of no return," the Secretary General said quietly. "No," replied the woman in black. "That was Erebus." Far below, frost hissed as cryogenic vapor bled from two massive pods. Warning glyphs flashed and faded, replaced by steady green lines. Life signs rose, slow at first, then strong, undeniable. The first pod opened with a sharp exhale. A man stepped out barefoot onto the steel floor, pale from stasis but already alert. His eyes swept the chamber in a single, precise motion, cataloging exits, cameras, and armed guards before any of them realized they were being assessed. General Marcus Hale had not aged. They called him the architect once, because wars been around his mind. He did not win battles. He designed inevitability. The second pod followed. The woman who emerged did not pause to orient herself. She rolled her shoulders, inhaled deeply, and smiled faintly, as if waking from a long, unfinished thought. General Elena Voss. Where Hale was calculation, Voss was motion. She had commanded from the front, walked through fire with soldiers at her back, and ended rebellions so completely they became footnotes instead of legends. Guards stiffened to spite themselves. Voss glanced at them. "Relax," she said. "If this were a coup, you'd already be dead." Hale turned toward the observation window. "How long?" he asked. 203 years, replied the Secretary General over the intercom. Hale nodded once. Then it happened again. Voss's smile vanished. "How many?" The question echoed heavier than any accusation. 99 million, the Secretary General said. Civilians. Colony world. Public execution. For the first time, Hale closed his eyes. Voss said nothing. She walked to the far wall and rested her forehead against the cold steel, breathing slowly. When she turned back, her voice was steady. "Show us." The hologram activated. Erebus burned again, silent and merciless. Cities erased. Oceans boiling. The Empire's executor delivering judgment with theatrical calm. When it ended, Voss looked at Hale. "They broadcast it." "Yes," he replied. "That means they're afraid of something they don't understand." In the chamber above, council members shifted uncomfortably as Hale raised his gaze to the cameras. "You sealed us because we finished wars," he said. "Not because we lost control. You made humanity fear itself," one counselor replied. Hale tilted his head. "Did it survive?" No one answered. The woman in black stepped forward. "General Hale." "General Voss. By unanimous decision, you are unbound. All command restrictions removed. Full authority over Earth's military, strategic AI, and interstellar assets." A pause. "Terms?" Voss asked. "There are none," the Secretary General said. "Only one request." Hale folded his hands behind his back. "Speak." "End it," the Secretary General said. "Without becoming them." Voss laughed softly, without humor. "That's the part you never liked watching." "Then don't watch," Hale replied. Systems updated instantly. Firewalls fell away. Ancient war AIs, long forbidden, recognized their creators and came online. Hale absorbed the data flood without visible strain. Fleet positions. Empire logistics. Political fault lines across 1,000 species. They built an empire on fear, he said. So we remove fear from the equation and replace it with certainty, Voss added. A junior officer hesitated. Generals, is this a war? Voss turned, eyes sharp. No. Hale finished the thought. This is enforcement. Above Earth, human fleets began to move, not in mass formations, but in precise, surgical dispersal. No declarations. No speeches. Just motion. Voss reached for her uniform, black, unadorned, the same she'd worn centuries ago. I'll take the forward commands. Hale nodded. I'll collapse their empire before their admirals realize they're fighting. As they prepared to depart, Hale paused at the threshold and looked back at the council. You did the right thing, he said. But understand this. Voss joined him, her voice low and final. We will not stop when they surrender. The vault doors closed behind them. Above, the stars waited, unaware that the war they feared had already been decided. The galaxy learns fear. The first Imperial system fell without a battle. No warning. No declaration of war. One moment, the Triarch trade nexus pulsed with traffic and commerce. The next, every jump gate collapsed into inert wreckage, its quantum anchors unraveled with surgical precision. Supply convoys vanished from navigation charts, not destroyed. Reassigned, their crews extracted and returned home with a single message stamped into every data core. Withdraw. Imperial Command dismissed it as coincidence. Then 5 more systems went dark in the same hour. Across the Empire, admirals barked orders and fleets surged forward, only to discover their formations outpaced by human vessels that should not have been able to arrive first. No FTL signatures. No detectable emissions. Humanity moved like a shadow cast before the object itself. At the heart of it all, General Marcus Hale stood in a quiet command chamber aboard the ESS Resolute. He did not raise his voice. He did not issue dramatic orders. He adjusted probabilities. Collapse Corridor 17, he said calmly. An AI hesitated, only for a millisecond. That will strand 3 Imperial armadas without resupply. Yes, Hale replied. That is the point. Corridor 17 ceased to exist. Fuel shortages cascaded. Fleet movement stalled. Empire war doctrine, built on overwhelming force and intimidation, found nothing to intimidate. On the other side of the war, General Elena Voss arrived where no human commander had ever stood. She led the boarding of Imperial Fortress Karos, a mobile citadel rumored to be invulnerable. Human strike pods punched through its hull in silence, magnetizing instantly. When the breach doors fell, Voss was already moving. She advanced at the front, black armor scorched but intact, rifle barking in controlled bursts. Imperial soldiers broke ranks, not because they were losing, but because the human commander did not slow down, did not retreat, did not die. Push, she ordered, stepping over a fallen alien officer. Do not let them regroup. Within 20 minutes, Karos was secure. Voss stood on the fortress bridge and opened a broadcast to every Imperial channel. This installation is under human control, she said, breathing steady. Power down your weapons. You will be treated according to human law. Some complied. Those who did not found their command codes rewritten mid-sentence. Across the galaxy, something unprecedented happened. Imperial worlds began to question. Human intelligence divisions, long restricted by political caution, unleashed everything. Archived footage, testimonies, unfiltered massacre reports from species the Empire claimed to have uplifted. Truth spread faster than fear ever had. Riots erupted on client worlds. Imperial governors vanished overnight. Entire planetary defense forces refused orders. In the Imperial Senate, panic finally surfaced. This is impossible, an elder shouted. Humans cannot fight like this. They are not fighting, another replied, voice shaking. They're dismantling us. The Emperor demanded answers. Admirals brought excuses. None brought solutions. In a private chamber, Hale reviewed casualty projections. They were low, lower than expected. Adjust, he told the AI. Prioritize capture over destruction. General, the AI asked, why preserve enemy forces? Hale's gaze hardened. Because the galaxy needs witnesses. Meanwhile, Voss walked through a conquered shipyard orbiting a red dwarf. Human marines stood among rows of silent Imperial warships, intact, powerless. A young lieutenant approached her. Ma'am, we've received a transmission. From where? The Empire's core territories. Voss accepted the data slate. It showed an Imperial admiral kneeling, surrounded by advisors. He spoke with visible effort. We request terms. Voss smiled, cold and sharp. They're early. Should we respond? She looked out at the stars, at human fleets positioned, not in aggression, but in control. No, she said. Let them wait. Elsewhere, alien species long crushed under Imperial rule began sending messages, not to Earth's governments, but directly to human commanders. Teach us how to stand. Hale received them all. He answered only one. Observe, he transmitted. And remember, by the third week, the Empire's economy had collapsed. Its fleets were fragmented, isolated, and demoralized. Its propaganda channels were silent, hijacked by recordings of Erebus, replayed without commentary. The galaxy learned the difference between violence and dominance. At the Imperial throne world, alarms finally sounded, not from incoming fleets, but from internal failure. Defense grids blinked offline, one by one, as if turning away in shame. The Emperor stared at the tactical display, realization dawning too late. This isn't revenge, he whispered. On the edge of Imperial space, two human war generals prepared to converge. Hale spoke first. They understand now. Voss checked her weapon and replied, Good. The lesson was almost complete. Judgment of the Unbound. The Imperial throne world, Oryx Prime, had never known siege. Its defense grid was legendary. Layered energy shields, autonomous battle moons, and fleets positioned to blot out the stars. For centuries, it had been the symbol of absolute authority. Species across the galaxy learned obedience simply by knowing Oryx Prime existed. Now its skies were empty, not because Earth's fleets were absent, but because they did not need to be seen. Systems across the planet shut down in quiet sequence. Orbital cannons powered off. Shield harmonics destabilized and collapsed inward. Not a single shot was fired. In the grand throne chamber, the Emperor stood before a wall of holographic displays as they winked out one by one. Open all channels, he ordered. We will negotiate. A transmission was sent, wideband, desperate. The reply arrived instantly. Too late. Human ships emerged from cloak at every strategic point simultaneously. Not in attack formation, but in containment, perfectly spaced, perfectly still. The message was unmistakable. Escape was no longer a concept. General Marcus Hale and General Elena Voss arrived together aboard a single shuttle. No escort, no announcement. Oryx Prime's defenses did not react, because they no longer could. They walked through the capital's corridors as Imperial guards stepped aside, weapons lowered. Not from orders, but from understanding. In the throne chamber, the Emperor finally saw them. They are legends, he whispered. I thought you were myth. Hale stopped 10 meters from the throne. Voss stood beside him, hands resting calmly at her sides. You killed 99 million civilians, Hale said. Live. On record. They were a demonstration, the Emperor replied weakly. You resisted Imperial authority. Voss stepped forward. You broadcasted their deaths, she said. That made this inevitable. A hollow projection activated above the chamber. Erebus, burning once more. The same footage the Empire had used to inspire fear now filled the room. But this time, the camera did not look away from the faces of those watching. The Emperor sagged. You've won, he said. Take our surrender. Spare us. Hale's voice was calm, precise. We are not here to conquer. Voss continued. And we are not here to exterminate. Hope flickered across the Emperor's features. We are here, Hale said, to end you. At a gesture from Voss, Imperial leaders, senators, admirals, executors were brought forward. Each was identified, each crime displayed, each decision logged and witnessed. The broadcast was sent to every world once under Imperial rule. "This is not vengeance," Voss said into the camera. "This is accountability." Sentences were passed. The Empire's ruling caste was dismantled. Leaders imprisoned in isolation facilities designed not for cruelty, but permanence. The military command structure was dissolved. War fleets were seized, not destroyed, and redistributed under strict human oversight. The Emperor collapsed to his knees. "What will you do with us?" he asked. Hale met his gaze. "You will live," he said, "and you will watch." Across the galaxy, oppressed worlds were granted autonomy. Borders were redrawn not by conquest, but by consent. Species once silenced were given voice and protection. Humanity did not declare itself ruler. It declared a law. No civilization may claim dominion through extinction. No ruler may hide genocide behind authority. Those who violated it would face not invasion, but judgment. When it was finished, Hale and Voss stood alone in the silent throne chamber. "It's done," Voss said. Hale nodded. For now, they returned to Earth without ceremony. Once again, the vault opened beneath the mountain. The Unified Defense Council waited, uneasy but resolute. "You saved the galaxy," the Secretary General said. Voss shook her head. "We reminded it." Hale stepped into the cryogenic chamber and paused. "You unbound us because you had to," he said. "Seal us again because you choose to remain human." The pods closed. Frost crept across the glass. As the vault powered down, Earth transmitted one final message to the stars. Not a threat, not a boast. A warning remembered by every species that heard it. Humanity does not seek dominion, but extinction is an unforgivable crime. The galaxy, forever changed, listened.